All right, guys, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to cover how to deliver the service. So we covered, if you're following along, right, you've seen the entire process. You've seen the cold email, right? We've covered the cold email. We covered the video. We covered, right? We went. You got the chance to listen to this phone call. You got a chance to listen to this phone call. Sales came in, and that's it. So three pillars of business success, right? You have your leads, sales, service, right? So all we have left is the service part. And this is the part that everyone usually focuses on. But guess what? You don't get to do this until you've done leads and sales. And there are so many courses online where I could buy the program, go inside the Facebook group, and immediately see how good of a program it is by how many of the questions are about leads and sales. If you see the majority, case in example, there was a famous SEO program in our space. And when the guy that ran it was a sales heavy guy, and when he ran it, the results were crazy. Like, students were getting results left, right, and center, selling SEO. All the questions in the group were about how to handle this objection, what to do with as far as prospecting goes. He left the program, and he has two other guys that run the coaching calls now. And the results of this SEO program have basically, they're almost non-existent now. And what's also interesting is that 80 to 90% of the questions in the group are like, how do I get my GMB verified? And, how do I rank my site? And how do I do all this? It's all on the service where, like, I will tell you, if you're below seven figures, 80% of your time, there's a great book on this. It might be on my desk here. No, not Ready, Fire, Aim by Michael Masterson. And he's scaled many businesses to $100 million. It's actually called 0 to 100 million, Ready, Fire, Aim. And sub seven figures, 80% of your time should be focused on selling. So that is really the secret. And I think, honestly, as we move into the future here, the future of work, right? This is a great book that everyone should read. Jerry Kaplan, Artificial Intelligence, What Everyone Needs to Know. And he basically says, and I'll do this so I can see the screen here. He basically says that what jobs will not be affected, right? Like the majority of jobs are going to be affected by artificial intelligence, and we should leverage it. But like, very important, I'm like, what jobs aren't going to be affected, at least in the short term? And he says, jobs we will never want to automate. Let me go back. Jobs we will never want to automate are jobs that involve person-to-person communication skills, the ability to understand or sympathize with another person, or authentic expression of a human emotion. These include salespeople, consultants, and advisors of every imaginable variety. Wedding planners, personal shoppers, decorators, online community managers, you name it. Hang on there, I'm not done. So this right here, like learning sales, learning how to be a consultant, which is really where we could, back in the day, when I would train this to people, it was still easy because you could learn Facebook ads before AI in about 2 days because it was still mainly AI based. You just had to learn to write the copy. But then to teach someone email marketing, to teach someone all the other components would take years, right? Nowadays, if you're a consultant and you know kind of how to push the AI, someone can get very good in a couple of weeks and know how to guide the AI, right? Which is what I teach, to do email copy, to do email text follow-ups, to do appointment no sales letters, to so if someone does an appointment, what's the marketing, what's the direct mail you send, to write all of the Facebook ads. It's done almost instantly now. And also, if you're switching niches, you can learn the niche almost instantly because AI knows every niche. So it knows you, as long as you guide it, you're good, right? So that's also why I think this is very important. Like, we're being salespeople here and we're being consultants. I think is if you know how to sell, then regardless of what happens on the back of AI, you're going to be able to weather this storm. Now, let's simplify the whole marketing online universe. So again, in this video, what I want to cover is a service, right? What is that minimum viable service and how do we deliver it? All right. So just to simplify everything, 99% of successful online businesses make money showing content to people. That content drives people into a sales process. Usually it's an appointment. Usually it's maybe a phone call, maybe a Zoom call. That content is the words, images, and videos. And what are large language models really good at? Content. So creating those words, those images, and those videos to sell is copywriting. And copywriting has not changed in 100 years. Human nature has not changed in 100 years. And that's really what we're going to leverage. So this is my scale framework, which is all the content that a successful business needs. And the majority of businesses, especially on the local level, there's 33 million of them. The majority of them have about 10% of this. So, perfect business would have their showcase content, which is the content they post online to get attention. This is their meta ad copy, which we'll cover here. But before, postcards, business card, flyers, Valpak. Now with AI, you could write, once you get your messaging right, you could adapt it to all, AI can actually adapt it to all the different media. So you got your YouTube scripting, your cold email, that's your showcase. Then you got your capture content. Like what is the content that's going to get them to want to basically exchange information, capture their information. So that's your landing page copy, your free report, your consumer guide that you're giving away, your free course that you're giving away, or your bait. Then you got your align copy, which is once you've kind of captured their information, how do you align them, aka nurture them to move to your let's talk offer. So that could be coming for a free cool sculpting consultation. That could be an audit call like what we're doing in our process. And then on there, you have your thank you page copy, your shock and awe box, your daily email follow-ups, your direct mail, your monthly printed newsletter. Again, this can all be done now with artificial intelligence and agents. Then there's the let's do business offer. There's sales scripts, objection scripts, appointment, no sale, follow-up, and then your upsell and next offer. Many businesses do a terrible job once they have a few clients of selling their past clients. So that could be your database reactivation, your daily emails, your direct mail follow-up, right? So those are kind of all the major things that we can do for a business. Now, like I said, when we're starting, we really want to do just one, like meta ad copy and maybe some email follow-up. But eventually you want to build this out for every niche so that you could then have one winning campaign and you can get more leverage at it. So like this is what a lot of people do. Like if you're a copywriter, you would create successful ads in funnel for a local jeweler. You would charge $5,000 to $15,000. It'd be project-based. You'd be one and done. You go to your next niche. The next is to productize your campaign. This is exactly what I did in Cool Sculpting. It's how I became, according to Allergan, if you added up all my clients at one point, I was the largest provider in the entire United States of Cool Sculpting leads. And I really created one campaign. It was like one ad. And I created the showcase, I created the content. I had landing page copy done. I actually had a consumer's guide for Cool Sculpting created, thank you page copy done, daily follow-ups. I had emails for Black Friday, emails for Valentine's Day. That basically was an entire system of this, right? So when someone signs up with me, right, which is later on, the call you heard, I was kind of like in between. About 2 months after that call is when I started to sell it as a kit, which was $5,000, right? Or it was actually 3 payments of $5,000. Started at $5,000, then moved it to 3 payments of $5,000. So it was $15,000 or $14,000 paid in full. So this right here, cost per sale, $1,000. You're taking that same kit and you're duplicating it, right? So you're selling the same kit. And this is what Alex Hormozi did with Gym Launch, is what Joe Polish did with the Rich Cleaner System, is what Tom Orent did with his $60,000 coaching program for dentists. So you're essentially productizing what you're doing, right? So as you can see here, if you sell 1,000 kits, 4,000, that's 4 million, right? Same work that you would custom do for one jeweler if you productize it and sell it over and over again using the model we just talked about. $3,000, 2,000 kits by profit, $12 million business. Again, you can do area exclusive, which was I ended up and where I am now, which is, notice how I said one location per area, right? So everyone can license all of the materials. You get all the ads, you get everything. All the email follow-ups, you get the sales scripts, you get the Cool Sculpting University. That's really where you want to take this, right? But like I said, we want to start with the minimum viable offer. That's where we're going to end up. That's how you get the stick rate. That's how you get the maximum lifetime values. You build all that out, and it's easier than ever with AI. But when we start, we want to deliver the minimum viable offer. The minimum viable offer, in my opinion, is done for you meta ads and done for you lead nurture. And that's a very cold-friendly offer. But again, like I said, the end goal is to create maximum lifetime value. And that is to create an offer with a stack where you're going to have a do-it-yourself component with courses. You're going to have a done with you component with a weekly call with your coaches, with your staff. We have a group call for Cool Sculpting, for med spas actually, which is every week they get on with one of our employees and it's a group call, and then there's done for you. So this is advertising 101, right? So advertising, very simple. We're going to advertise, we're going to get leads, we're going to make a sale. With regards to advertising, we're going to engage the prospect. We've got a message in front of their eyeballs. We're going to get their details in return for an opt-in, which is just where they enter their name, email, phone number. And then we're going to move to sales, right? And that's what your client's going to handle. The phone call, in-person consultation, live event, website, etc. So these are the 7 steps to creating and profiting from social media ads. So like I said, we've signed up, like, let's just say you're doing this, you've listened to this whole thing, we've signed up a cool sculpting client, we'll use that as a niche, right? So how do we go about doing this? Number 1, evaluation and goal setting. 2, market research, hitting the marketing bullseye. Then we're going to create and launch the social lead machine. We're going to optimize and scale, lead nurture and conversion system, and then turn your skill into a business. So this is the social media funnel, and this is the minimum viable social media funnel, which is very simple, is to use Facebook lead ads, right? You don't need to create a landing page. You don't need a website builder. And this is, I would just have a go high level thank you page, very simple. But essentially what we're going to do here is we got an ad. Ad's going to show. The good thing is you're already multi-channel if you're using Facebook. So you got Facebook, Meta, Messenger, right? These are social media channels. They're going to see this ad. It's going to say click. It's going to open up the form inside of Facebook. So the tracking is there. You don't have to worry about passing a conversion API or anything fancy like that. Although you do want to eventually move to that. But for starters, again, minimum viable offer. We just want to sell something, sell leads, prove that we get leads. We can always improve the service as we get more clients. In this, but this is always where we want to start. Like the simplest way to get leads for any business is a lead form, right? So we're going to have a lead form here. Once they fill in the lead form, we'll have email follow-up, text follow-up. That's going to drive to the conversion mechanism, which is either going to be an appointment or a phone call. And then there's going to have a branded thank you page. Again, all driving either an inbound phone call for a free consultation. They're going to turn it into customers. So that is it. Whenever you have a client, you cannot help your client until you clearly understand their objectives. So take for our example, the client that we just signed up, he wants 35 more cool sculpting patients every single month. So what you need to know, you need to know the goal, you need to know the niche. We know it's cool sculpting. We need to know the margin, which is very simple. Just go to ChatGPT, Gemini, any of them and ask what's the average, what's the margin? And it's going to give you a very good approximate. Did this before this and 65%, right? We're going to know what the offer is, right? What do we put in our ad? What's the offer to get someone to give us our name, email, phone number? Again, that's very simple. We're going to have AI agents do the research. We're going to need to know the competition. And then that's it. So the intake and evaluation, we want to know their current process for making a sale, right? A lot of this we're going to ask on that audit call. You saw I asked them, what's the process like, right? Where are you currently getting lead from? What have you tried in the past? Do you have a marketing system? Like he said, hey, I get them from direct mail. They do mailers. He did Google. He did Facebook. Do you know where your best clients come from? These are all stuff that I'll ask in the onboarding. Do you have a trackable marketing system in place? Do you know how many contacts it takes for your company to convert into a prospect? A lot of clients do not know this, by the way, and that's totally okay. So we're going to have to get those numbers. The call you just heard, he actually knew, which was really good. Like he's like, for every 100, we get about 40% of the show, 40%. 100 leads, it's like 40% say they want to show. They get about 20 to come to their appointment. Out of that, they close like 15. So he actually knew like the close rate. He knew all the numbers, which is perfect. We really want to figure that out for our client. Also, we want to know lifetime value. You probably heard me say, how much. He said it was $3,500. But again, on the onboarding call, I'm going to find out, they buy other things, right? We want to, like, other than cool sculpting, every med spa, they buy additional things. And, so we want to know really what they can, what's the lifetime value. And then as a consultant, we also want to say, okay, great. They get cool sculpting. Do you make any other offers automated to them? No. Okay. Could we set one of those things up for you, right? So and again, simple emails and just cross-selling and upselling. Again, there's a lot of money there. That's how I always back my way into, I think so many people try to sell database reactivation as their first offer, which is a giant, giant mistake because it's not a cold friendly offer. It's like in the middle, right? Like it sounds really good logically until you try to do it. Yes, you will get some people to say yes. Actually, any offer, you will get some people to say yes. One of my sales mentors said, if you talk to enough monkeys and you make an offer, someone's going to say yes. So with any offer, even if you're selling like SEO, there are SEO agencies which they pound the pavement, they cold call, hey, I'll build a website for you, we'll do your SEO. You're going to make sales. Especially as a one-man show when you're starting out, where I'm looking to make things as easy as possible. And that's why you want things cold friendly. But I digress. So we want to know what percent is what you can afford to spend on a social media ad for every product sold and still make a profit. So we want to find out the margin, which is their revenue minus operating costs, and we want to multiply it by 100. So ideally, the margin should be, above 30%. The gross margins for what you're going after should be about 80% plus, direct costs of fulfilling. So that's kind of what you want to figure out. You want to figure out what their goal is, why, and reverse engineer it. And again, a lot of this is going to happen on the sales call. But let's just say you're helping someone on the side doing the social media ads. This is what you want to find out for all advertising. Like how much, 2 numbers you need to know: cost to acquire a customer and lifetime value. So you also want to know, like, okay, if the lifetime value is $5,000 or $10,000 and it's 80% gross margin, we know it's going to cost $8,000 to get a client. How much what are they willing to spend to get one of those clients? Is it $2,000? Is it $4,000? For a lot of local businesses like this, it's, you usually want 3-to-1 CAC. So $3,000, like if it's $1,000 to acquire a customer, you want at least $3,000 in profit. So, because then after that, you're going to have all the costs of the business, right? So that's that. Market research blueprint. All right. So we have our ad campaign planning process. I'm going to go quick through this, right? So we want to look at the top 3 competitors, websites, and fan pages. You're looking for facts, benefits, offers, and proof. You're looking for their USPs. You're looking for their problems, frustration, fears, desires, hopes, dreams, and you're looking to reverse engineer the bug. The other thing we're looking for is we're going to answer the Dan Kennedy questions, which are the 10 smart marketing questions, which we'll get to in a second. So first, check out the competition. Really, you should know how to do things manually, and then we're going to have the agents do it. So you would use Google, you would check out their website, fan pages, you could use SpyFu, you could use Facebook Ads Library, Power Ad Spy is really good. Anytime you go to Groupon or Living Social and see what offers are being run, and then this is a fancy search to find out for any niche how many times an ad is running. So that's number 1. And again, we got the ads library here. And then number 2, we get the Dan Kennedy smart marketing questions. We want to answer that for all. So back in the day, the way to do this was to go online, look at competitor sales pages, look at forums, and try to reverse engineer that. We don't need to do any of that today. So let's just say we're doing stuff for cool sculpting. Really, I'm going to go here. We'll go here, right? I'll put this to the other screen. I personally think that in this AI age, you should have Google Gemini subscription, you should have a Grok subscription, Claude and ChatGPT, and a Manus, right? Manus is kind of optional. They're very agent, but I really think that you should be using all 4 of the majors. What I do is I actually use WhisperFlow. It's like $15 a month. I hold this down and I can put a prompt in like this, right? So that makes it very easy. And then I copy and paste the prompt into all 4. Now, realistically, at least have one of them. If you go to LLM Arena, you could see what the best model is. It used to be ChatGPT. At the time of recording this, the smartest model is actually Claude Opus 4.6. The second is the Gemini, and then Grok, and then ChatGPT is actually now the dumbest. So what I want to do is really just take here, and I want to have the agent do it, right? So I'm going to copy this, right? And this is really I don't have special prompts. I just have it, and this is where AI is going, is you want to be iterative in your prompts and you want it to be goal generated. So I'm just going to say, I'm working on a campaign for a client. He is in cool sculpting. I'm going to run meta ads for him. Can you please find the top 3 cool sculpting practices in the world and complete the following exercise? I'm doing this on a national basis, so I want the best cool sculpting practices out there. Tell me who they are. Right. So, and then I could have them do the exercise. So I would usually break this up I'd have it do this prompt, find it out, right? I think Grok is actually the best for this, would be the best for this prompt, because Grok now has agents in it. So let me just pop this here, and then let me just copy this, right? And I'm going to go bang, and I'm going to go bing, close that, right? We're going to let this go. And with Super Grok, what's really cool is it's got all the AI agents, right? So it's going to go out and it's going to find that. So again, I could show you just how this would look because I'm guessing the majority of you are going to be on ChatGPT. If you're going to do this kind of prompt on ChatGPT, what I would do, and I'm not going to use one of mine, is I would actually do a deep research. So it goes searches the web. We could turn on web search, so we'll actually search for this, which is good, and we'll do thinking. So I'll just show you, most of you are going to be using ChatGPT to find that. I'll show you my guess. So this is great. It's found the top in the world right now. Bo Devi, that's exactly who we want, right? Let's see how Grok does. BoDevi's number one. So it's got all the different agents, which is incredible, that are going out there. I think Grok's going to do the best with this. So what we'll do here is I'm going to actually show you, like, while that works in the background, we're going to go here, the 10 smart marketing questions, and I'm just going to go copy, right? And I'm going to say, we'll do Google Gemini. I love Google Gemini. So I'm going to say, I am writing and doing a Facebook campaign for cool sculpting. I want to help my client get the best result. Can you please do this exercise for the niche of cool sculpting? You are a direct response copywriting expert. I'm going to do that. I like to put these little brackets if I'm, let me just right click, paste and match styles. There we go. So that's going to, I don't like that it did that. So bang, I'm going to close that. So I put on all the 10 questions here, right? Put my little brackets at the end, click go, right? So that's perfect. Like, it's going to go out. It's going to read that. Let's see what this has done here. Like, this is, has it found me? So BoDevi here, and it's got the facts, right? It's got the USP. It's got all this, right? I'm going to say right here, I'm going to say, can you look at just their website and tell me what offers they're running on Facebook ads and what are their most successful promotions, right? Like, really, we're just trying to find out what the best people are doing, right? If it says BoDevi is the best, they're number one cool sculpting per Allegan, right? It's actually going to browse the meta ad library, which is amazing. Like, this is doing the research of exactly what was in the program. Like, this is how good agents are getting. So if you direct it, it's going to give you that. So, and this is here, like, just showing you some different, again, you just need to use one, right? I'd recommend all four, but because again, they're all going to give you a little bit different results. BoDevi, here's the facts, save 50% on your treatment, benefits, offer, savings and discount. But this did a great job. Like, this looked at all the competitors and it's got all the offers. It's got all the who to strategically steal, like offers 50% savings, right? So that's pretty much, I just want to get this research, and we could copy and paste this from one into the other, but this is really good. They're angry at their own genetics, what trends are occurring, Ozempic, what do they secretly desire the most? We have all, like, we're doing our research. We're having AI do the research for us, which is incredible. And they're running 50% off Cool Sculpting Elite coupon plus a free body sculpting treatment is their number one offer. Get your price and coupon 50% off. That's the exact headline. Plus get a free body sculpting. So, this is the exact offer. How it works. Fill in your description, watch short form. That's it. So, like, again, we can just model their entire campaign. They're the number one in the country. We'll just do it for everyone else, right? So this is kind of how this stuff works, right? So if we go here, we're back hitting the marketing bullseye. So we want to write the right message for the right market via the right media. Now, we got to decide what you're going to sell. How are you going to sell them? What core beliefs do you have to instill? How are you going to do this different than the competition? So for this, what's the number one thing your customer wants? What's the big problem? What's the number one thing they want to know or have? Describe your customer experience. Decide on your bait, right? This, again, also called a freebie. That's what the bait is. Like, we already know what our bait is. Like, the different types, we could do a freebie, a freemium, a lead magnet, or a bribe. Lead magnet would be like a PDF or something like that. We already know we're going with a bribe because I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. And I don't think you should reinvent the wheel in local at all. So we're going to use this from BoDevi. That's it. So let me just keep going down. This is just some example bait. This is like, I'll make this full screen so you can see this. That would be $27 for a consult, an x-ray, and doctor's report, free consultation for knee pain. This is by my buddy Billy Jean from way back in the day. Attention Port Jefferson. We're giving 12 first timers of CrossFit free at Saturday. So this is just a free offer, like try CrossFit, free beginner class, Port Jefferson location, right? Typical bait for local is going to be your financial incentive, right? Which is what we're going to go with here because that's what BoDevi's doing, 50% off. You could also do a pain and problem based to a free consultation, right? Which we saw before. Quiz to see if you qualify. I've run that for several niches, including mortgage, solar, right? Where there's a quiz, see how much home you qualify for. I also did it for cool sculpting, see if you qualify. And then their consumer awareness guide. This is, ran this for cool sculpting as well, where it's like, this comes from Joe Polish. It's like the 10 things you need to know before you hire a carpet cleaner. And that would be the bait that they would give away, right? So here's the social ads, right? This is what it's going to look like. And these are the 7 steps to write a perfect social ad, right? You call out your audience. You say, here's what I got. Here's what it will do for you. Here's what I want you to do next. Create a headline stating the offer. create a link description with a call to action, use an image that will get someone to scroll, and check the Facebook ads policies. That's a master step. So here's the beauty of this nowadays, right? I don't even need to teach you how to do this. So you can just copy this, right? Bada bing. And we could say, actually, I'll say, can you please write me a meta ad following this formula? And I'm going to say formula equals bang, bang, right? So we got that in there. The offer I want to use is going to be this one. I'm just going to copy this in here, right? Offer equals bang, bang, right? And then usually you want to give it some context. So I'm going to actually give it the 10 smart marketing questions because you want it in the context file of a large language model. There we go. All right. I'm going to say here is also some context and market research on the cool sculpting market. And we're going to go context equals bang, bang. And if we want to be even faster with it, what we could do is I'm going to pull up on my other screen. I'm going to go to Dropbox. I'm going to go to business. I'm going to go to projects. I'm going to areas. I'm going to go to AI assets, AI local, right? And then these are my local copywriting assets. So right here, we have all of the best Facebook ads. So if I pop this over in Markdown, like these are all ads written in this formula, right? And then I can just jam this into this conversation here and say, right, yeah, I'll see what it does. Bang. So we'll do that there, right? We don't really need to learn how to write anymore. And these agents have actually looked at it. So attention Las Vegas, right? Great. Perfect. Can you follow and model the structure of the ads that are in the Markdown format that I just gave you? So that's there, right? And by the way, you could use this right here, right? Attention Las Vegas, tired of stubborn fats. Again, that's not going to be compliant. So you always got to double check no matter how clean you eat, how hard you train, or even weight loss med, that muffin top love handles. Like this really good copy, but not going to fly on Facebook ads. So you always want to, again, I'll show you what to do in a second, but let's see what it did here. Attention Las Vegas, tired of the stubborn. We're giving away 50% off cool sculpting plus body sculpting contour, text to you in minutes. Cool sculpting, like this is it. This is perfect. Done. Right? That's an amazing ad. Attention Vegas, tired of the muffin top, love handles, or mom pooch. No matter how much you eat, how much you hit the gym, or even if you're on the weight loss meds, you're ready for beach day weddings. And then I'm just gonna say, right, can you please make those ads extremely Facebook compliant? You always want to go back over the top here. So look, it even knows it, right? We always want to be rather safe than sorry. So curious about a non-surgical way to contour your shape and feel more confident in your favorite, like that's perfect. Many people explore options like Cool Sculpting Elite after focusing on diets, exercise, and other wellness. We're giving away 50% Cool Sculpting Elite coupons, plus a free body sculpting treatment voucher texted to you in minutes after claiming. Cool Sculpting Elite is an FDA-cleared, non-invasive, fat-freezing treatment, right, that may help you reduce common areas. I don't like the word fat, so can you make it even more Facebook compliant? Again, usually you won't have to do this, but this niche is, I just know from experience that it doesn't like the word fat, doesn't like any of that. So we're just gonna go extra safe. Curious about non-surgical to enhance your natural condition for feel confident. Many people explore Cool Sculpting Elite as part of their wellness journey, especially when focused on shapes and smoothness after diet routines. We're giving away 50, like this is perfect. Treatment using controlled cooling that may help smooth your contour like adamant flax stem charms. No needles, no surgery, no that. Just a comfortable session that supports. That's perfect. I'm going to ask it. Can you show me the ads that Bo Devaney is running right now, or any of the top Cool Sculpting clinics from this thread? I just want to see what that's looking like. But again, that's pretty much it. Like this ad's done, right? Very simple. Like we got our ad done in, I don't know, we're going pretty quick here, but let's see if I can, yeah, that's it, right? So that's done. I'll try to pull up maybe a text doc over here in the other window. Let's go new document, right? So if we pull up a text doc, that's it. We got our ad done. Headline is perfect. I would just take out the M dashes so it doesn't look like AI wrote it, right? I'd probably just type that in, like, take away M dashes and signs that it looks like AI wrote it. But that's, again, using Grok. You could use Gemini, will probably do just as good of a job. Claude is actually, in my opinion, the best writer. So you could always say, go type it into Claude and say, hey, rewrite it, right? This is just good with the, this is just good because it actually is, it's got the agents that are searching. The best would be actually Manus. Manus would go and find in all the ads, but like we got this here, right? From here, let's just take this And we're going to say, please, can you create a Facebook ad image that is compliant for Facebook ads for this ad, right? We're just going to be very simple. This will pull up Nano Banana Pro, whatever the heck it's called nowadays. And that's going to create the image. So like, we're pretty much done. Like, we got the copy written, right? And again, attention dog owners, do you hate bathing? The wet dog smell, this is another good ad. This is another good ad here. Where do you get images? Again, AI, you use Canva, Photoshop. Personally, you're going to see this does a pretty good job. I just know from experience, the best ad for cool sculpting from running this stuff is just going to be a picture of the machine. Very simple. So you could always just Google picture of cool sculpting machine, right? That's what I would do. But really, you still want to kind of look, yeah, that's fine. FDA cleared, no needles, no downtime. That's good. Like, I might even get rid of the girl. Like, you remove the girl from the image and just have everything else, right? We'll say that, right? This is like vibe marketing. So, all right, where are we at? So that's it. Copywriting died in 2025. So it's over. All that's left is copy thinking and sales thinking. This is everything you need to do before you write out the prompt. So you want to outsource the writing and not the thinking. So notice I'm still thinking, still double checking. Like, you would still want to, I personally think you should still read the Facebook ads library. You'd still want to go through, like, say, my AI social ads course, which goes more in depth. But really, the manual labor, like, you used to have to plan it. Then you would have to do all the manual labor. Now you're really just kind of, doing AI assisted creation, where, like, that ad to me is, I would create a couple of variations, and with the AI targeting, that, in my opinion, would probably get leads for anywhere between $12 and $20 for a cool sculpting clinic. In most markets, you're going to be right there with every agency. The big secret is it's really not that difficult anymore. So if you're running your own business, fire your agency from watching this, do what I just showed, and you're kind of good to go. So I still recommend how to fly the plane. Like, 30 days, you can become a master at copywriting, because you'll learn all the copy thinking. About one day, or actually even after this video, you can do pretty good, which is you can do agentic copywriting, which is what I'm doing here. You're just prompting. You're following the formula I got. You're doing the research. As long as it's in the same thread, it will have the context, and if you give it example ads, right, even better, right? So, we could go to the Facebook ads library, right? If you type in Facebook ads library, you pop that up here, and we could do cool sculpting. Like, let's see what's running nowadays. Like, I would still do this manually, like if I was doing a campaign. There we go. So, and if what I'd really want to do is, I only care about this, which is Bodenvi. We just want to see, like, that they're doing. Because if they're number one, here we go. So, and they got multiple locations. So let's see what they're doing. You could see they're running in Spanish, which, by the way, really good to run any of this stuff in Spanish. You know how easy this is? We actually do insurance in Spanish right now. So if you go like this, you can go to this. Where's our ad at? Let's just take this to Claude. Well, let's do ChatGPT. Why not, right? Can you please rewrite this ad in Spanish? And bang. So pop that in there. This is what AI is really good at. It's going to translate that. So that's probably what they're doing here. We could take a look at all of their, again, they just got the machine. That's a good image. This is probably not compliant. It's just they're running a simple lead ad. So if you actually click see ad details, we'll see the form. We should be able to see the form here. All right. Additional assets. So this is free treatment now, limited time with the Bodemi fat is permanently removed. That's super sketchy. Like, the fact that they're getting away with that. Good for them. Consultation, enter info below, preferred location. Are you comfortable speaking English? First name, last name, phone number. Like, they're doing simple lead ads for FDA approved body sculpting and muscle toning. And again, they're number one. Like, look at all the ads they're running. You could easily just model what they're doing, right? Even the ad, like, if you need to do the ads, take this, right? So if we know this, and right, like, let's do Gemini, because we have all this in the context window. So I'll say, using this ad as a model, can you rewrite it for cool sculpting? Let's see what it does. All right, I'm just going really quick. Like, I'd go a little slower, but I do want to just show you, like, how quickly you could produce these assets. Yeah, like this is, I like this. 50% off Cool Sculpting Elite. Claim your consultation unlock coupon. Cool Sculpting Elite is FDA cleared. Freezing away. Like, again, I would just, if it was mine, I'd make it a bit more. Obviously, they're getting away with stubborn fat and all that. Like, I've just throughout I've ran so much in money in Cool Sculpting that I know that eventually the good old Facebooks will find you when you're doing this. So and the cost, believe it or not, the cost of per lead does go up, but not a lot. Not enough that you need to risk your account. So I would just clean this up and like this, perfect. I'd put the phone number here, my tracking number in the actual number, and like this right here, that's an ad that is like beautiful to go. So where are we at? We need to, so we covered agentic copywriting, right? Which is, most people say, write me a Facebook ad. That's not the way to do it, right? That's zero shot prompting. Not good. We want to do it agentically, which is the way that we're doing it here. Multiple prompts, feeding things in the context, giving it swipe files, rough draft, revising it, saying make it more Facebook compliant, loading the research up, finding all that good stuff out. And it's going to create better output, because when you go and you do this agentic type stuff, there's better output. Now, we covered agentic copywriting assets. So what do you need to run campaigns? Let me just pop this up here. Very simple. You need a profile, business manager, ad account, fan page, lead tracker, call tracking, Facebook pixel, autoresponder, text follow-up. You use lots of different tools. I'm always a fan of high level because it's all built in one. So I know like people are like, oh no, high level. There's like high level derangement syndrome. I think it's a great software. I know a lot of people have been like burned from it because affiliates try to sell it so hard. I think it's really good. But anyway, you can use whatever you want. I don't really care. So social media, local ads, again, this is campaign structure. You got your campaigns, ad sets, and ads. You're going to go in, you're going to select leads. Again, Bodevany, they were running these. You click new campaign. You're going to click auction. You're going to set the budget. I like to start at like $20 a day, and you scale up from there. Campaign budget is what you want to set. You're then going to click instant forms. That's the form that they would fill in. So like this form here is an instant form, right? You would put in just their name, email, phone number. And again, I'd model exactly what I would find the top people doing. So I'd pretty much knock them off. We want to maximize for number of leads. Dynamic creative, we want to turn that on. Very important. We want to give the AI as much control as possible, especially on the local level. We're going to feed it with a lot of different images and different variations of the same copy that's compliant, and let the algorithm figure out what's going to work. So audience, this is where it gets crazy. We're always going to go Advantage Plus, and we're going to select, okay, so audience right here. We're going to do budgets, which we already did, but we're going to have it start. You want it to start like 6 a.m. the next day, 8 a.m. the next day. That's what all the fancy pants media buyers say. So that's what I do. The audiences, that's, depending on where you are, you do 8-mile radius, 5-mile radius. It makes sense for the business. Like if you're in Manhattan, it's probably a 1-mile radius. If you're, it's like how far they're going to drive for that location. So, in Vegas, I'd probably do, 5-mile, if someone's in Henderson, they're probably going to not drive all the way to Summerlin South, maybe. But I'd start smaller and then have it go big. I usually go, 10-mile radius, 9-mile radius, that sort of thing. Big thing is you want Advantage Plus on. And guess what? We use no targeting. So that's the big secret. And the placements, we use Advantage Plus and we say show it anywhere. And this was very controversial. I had run, roughly $3 million. And eventually I came to the conclusion, this was in 2021, that it's far better to let Facebook take control. And that was kind of a crazy thing to say. And now it's common wisdom, because what happened was you used to target things by hand. Like this is what it used to look like. You'd put in like all the interests, all the behaviors you would try to target. And then there was the algorithm. And originally, like the humans, especially like, I started doing Facebook ads in 2015. And it was like a big advantage to know how to target what interests. And then I kept seeing like it moved to lookalike audiences and eventually no targeting. And that was because the algorithm got better. And it was like what I would call the deep blue moment. Like originally, us humans were way better at doing the targeting. Nowadays, the computer is so much better. So this is just handing the control over. The more you start to get fancy with the targeting, the more you'll pay what I call the picky taxes. So really, we just want to keep it wide open, right? Once you've done that, we're going to go to a page like this. You're going to pick a name for the ad, select your fan page. You're going to say select ad. You can do single image carousel, right? Select images. So you select a bunch of the images that you made. We just made one. You can make several. Primary text, copy and paste what the AI wrote. The headline, copy and paste it in. It's going to look like that. You're going to have your primary text. You're going to have your headline. You're going to have your description, display link, call to action. I always use is sign up, right? You're then going to go create lead form. I always choose higher intent in the very beginning. You could do more volume, but like let's say it's cool sculpting form, flexible form, optimized delivery. we're then going to go, we're going to, usually we'll just model what, like I would model what Bo Devaney's doing. So if we go here, you can see if they're running a form, which they are, like get one free muscle. Let's see what else they're running here. Let's do get one free muscle toning treatment. So like you would click see add details and you would go additional. And this is the form. So they're saying free treatment now, limited time with Bodemi, fat is permanent. We have men and women services, free consultation, enter info below. So that's they have the headline here, which is free treatment. And then below that paragraph is what it's saying. The paragraph below says this. Then you got it'll say, if we go up here, so like enter details below, right? Contact information, name, email, phone number. That's always what I use, right? This example one for solar, you could add in more forms. If I would start minimal and then add in more forms, but that's it. You set that up and you literally press publish and you wait. And Facebook, you can set up the back-end automations however you want. You can have it go from, you can set up Zapier, tons of YouTube videos. So it goes with Zapier, like if you hate Go High Level, you go Zapier to Google Sheet. I've done that. The simplest way is just to set up a high-level sub-account for your client and then have it high level take care of all the nice reporting. Anyway, optimize and scale, right? You're going to go in your ads manager. You can check how it's doing. There's 3 phases to running a campaign. You got your pre-launch, which we just covered. We got your launch, where we just press send, right? And then we get the post-launch. We're going to optimize the ad campaign, optimize the funnel, add to the follow-up and nurture, testing process, lead conversion. So we're going to establish KPIs, CPM, CPC, CTR, CPL. I'm going to whiz through this, but the most important metric is money in, money out. So we start with sales, we work backwards. If the $1,000 product and they want to get a 2-to-1 return, it means for every $500 we spend, that's how much it's going to cost to acquire a customer. So if you convert 10% of your inquiries into sale, right, we need to get $50 cost per lead. So you want to back in from your cost per lead to your cost to acquire to what your ROAS is, your return on ad spend. 3 outcomes of the campaign. It could totally bomb, happens about 10% of the time. In that case, just write it, let it run for a little bit, run a different campaign. If it's $20 a day, you're not going to use much of the budget. If it works exactly as planned or better, we're just going to scale, take the budget, increase it by 20%, the calculator 1.2, right? And do that every 48 hours. If it's somewhere in between the first two scenarios, 70% of the time, we're just going to optimize, right? Throw in some different variations, let that dynamic creative do the test. So big thing about running a Facebook ads is we want to think like a scientist. We want to gather valuable data. So like, even if you're not making sales, you're still getting valuable data. Again, it's the data, not the drama. Too many people freak out when they run ads, get really emotional about social media ads. Literally let the data make the decision. You want to understand statistics. So good to read some books on statistics because anything less than 500 clicks, it's not statistically relevant. Rule 3, never shut off something that's working within KPI, test against it. Rule 4, understand the algorithm. We got to wait and give it some time. All right, that's how to run ads. Lead, that like really quick, right? Lead nurture, every lead should be touched weekly by your email system. So you want to set up autoresponders, follow-up calls, retargeting, high level handles, all this you could do, the email, the text, all of it. But if you hate high level, you could use MailChimp, get response, activate your campaign, doesn't matter. Anything that sends email. You could even do it by hand if you want. And that's pretty much it. That's the social media funnel. If you want to quickly do some agentic AI for follow-up, the best way to do this is obviously to have some templates like I have, but you can quickly say, like here, great. Once someone's submitted their details, can you give me 7-day emails and texts so that they will call into the office and book their consultation, right? So that's like the lazy way. This is going to do better than, I guess, most clinics have like 3 done. So just by the fact that you're doing this, you're going to do pretty good. Even better, right, is start to feed it with some good examples. So if we go here and I have like, best local promotion emails, all them. So we can start to feed it with that and say, model these examples. That's the real way. Or even better, find Bo Devaney's, opt in, get all theirs, and just have AI rewrite it. Done. You followed your modeling success. Pretty easy. Say model these, but make it so it's not plagiarism. That's the prompt, right? So, which is what you do by hand for copywriting it, like anyway, So load it up with like information about cool sculpting, the 10 smart marketing questions, then give it all Bo Devaney's and say, rewrite this and make it better, and don't plagiarize it, right? And with email, you could be as aggressive as you want. which is you don't have to worry about any of the Facebook gods raining down on you. So trying to make this as fast as possible. Where are we at here? Turn the business into a skill. That's it. So I showed you how to run Facebook ads. Again, I've taught this to others. This 20 grand, 13,000, $5,000 deal closed, $37, these were all beginners, by the way. 5K a month, bank and rank. He was selling SEO. So, we called it bank then rank instead of like doing SEO and ranking and then trying to bank. And that's pretty much it. So here's what I want you to do. Decide how much money you want to earn. Let's say it's 100K per year. Let's assume you have a 5,000 a month offer. You need 2 clients. That's it. 2 active clients and you're at $120,000 a year. If you want to earn 6 figures per month, which is totally doable, by the way, that's just 20 clients. You could literally handle that. And by the way, that's what I've done, which is I was at over 100 grand a month, just me, my wife, and a VA. That's it, right? So that's 20 clients, which is totally doable. Simply decide how much you want to earn, figure out how many clients you would need to achieve this, then calculate how many leads you would need, assume 1 in 3 conversion, that's 6 leads a month. If you enroll in 2 clients, and that's it. So basically that's this whole process. Hopefully I kept this video pretty short. So go out, apply this stuff. Now you've seen the whole thing, right? You've seen like the entire process from the cold email to the education-based marketing video to the 2 calls to now how to use AI to actually use agentic AI and agents. We're going out and searching to do all of this for us. There's nothing stopping you. There's no excuse for you not to go out and dominate. And again, if you learn these skills, your life will never be the same. So with that said, below here, there might be information. From time to time, I do run workshops and boot camps where we would work together and really we'd work on, number 1, your sales skills, your prospecting skills, and then also your marketing ability to use AI in order to create this stuff. So if that's something that you're interested in, then reach out to me on Facebook. If I got anything up and coming, I'll let you know about it. But with that said, no hard pitch, no anything. This is it. I just wanted to give this to you.